We're live, Joe.
Yes, it's good to have you back, Christina. You were away and doing awesome things. I don't know if we talk about it, but you were doing awesome and sent me some really cool pictures that I thought ChatGPT made.
Yeah, I was in Arizona. I don't know if you've ever been there before.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
Well, it was in the it was in an area that I'd never been. It's in Page, Arizona.
Yeah, I've been to Page quite a bit.
I'd never been there, and
Yeah.
I was like, it looked AI generated.
Yeah, it's like right by Lake Powell, like all the stuff out
Yes.
there. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and so I was just soaking it all in. It was very like it was for a brand, but it was like I felt like I was on vacation.
Right?
I was like, when I came back, I'm like, I feel very recharged. This feels illegal to feel this good after a work trip. So, anyways, that video is coming out this Tuesday. Not that anybody cares, but it's for a company called Zenny Homes. So I will be creating a thumbnail for it. So this whole stream is about thumbnails, and I want to like give you an idea of how I will come up with the idea for a thumbnail. I think that's the hardest thing for people to come up with. I think the first thing they do wrong, though, Joe, is that they decide that they're going to make the thumbnail after they make the video, which is backwards. I always like I have the thumbnail idea before I ever film anything. Now that idea may change after I filmed it, but I have a good idea of what it's going to look like prior because I did something. What do you think I did, Joe?
You meaning you changed? I'd be curious to know. What did you do? I don't know. You got me guessing now.
Yeah, I researched YouTube first.
You mean as far as like what you're like what you wanted to do as far as with the thumbnail or what?
Right. Well, just getting an idea, a concept,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what am I going to do for a concept?
Right. So you checked out to see kind of what was out there already, what was doing well, what wasn't doing well, that kind of stuff, correct?
Right. So the brand name is Zenny Homes or Zenny Home, depending on where you're looking. So this is what I pretty much do for almost every single video is I kind of just get an idea of what's out there today. First, I go to Zenny Homes, then I go over here and I will like go to the filters and then I'll just go like this year and then just see what's coming up. Okay, so look, this one, this was out 4 months ago. It's just a picture of the house with new info released. Just kind of a basic.
Mm-hmm.
Then this one, that's not it. Here we go. Here's another one. Look inside. And he's got himself standing there. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would probably, oh, here, look, here's another one.
First look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're kind of seeing a trend with all of that.
Yep. So it's pretty clear, you're just going to have to use a picture of the house and some power words on it. So that's what I'm going to end up doing.
Yeah. So, and that kind of brings up a point is like when you were out there, do you do the research beforehand so that you kind of know what to look for? I think that's the key, right? Is knowing like, okay, I know what people, here's what's working or what people are getting some views on. So I'm going to model it or pattern it after that, but then put your own little spin and twist on it.
Right. So I've done these types of videos in the past. So I kind of already know what works for my channel. So we'll just go and this will be a good example of once you have established some audience with your channel and you know that some things that have worked for your channel for these types of any type of video really in the past, that's when you go, golly, that was loud. Sorry. So I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to share the screen again. We're going to look at this bozo. Okay, so we're going to go to the most popular. All right, so these are about Home Depot. They want the price on those. That is a pattern. So I put the price of the name tag, right? Same with Amazon. But when I did these ones over here, this was for a folding house. So the whole playlist is build a house in X amount of time. So the same thing, build a house, instant house, right? So I'm probably going to do something either similar to this, but again, it features the house.
Yep.
Or something like this, again, features the house. Or there's one more, something similar to this, because
Yeah.
it works.
You know that it works for your audience.
Exactly. They really like a blue skyline too. That's why you see a lot of these, they have like hyper blue skylines, like overly dramatic and saturated skylines. So I do that a lot. But
Which
that's what
out there in Arizona is gorgeous and has that like almost naturally.
naturally. I took a couple of pictures. I'm like, I don't have to edit these.
It's like already done. It's already oversaturated.
Way oversaturated. Yeah. So, and that's the other thing. You have to pay attention to what's working for your specific channel, even though it may not work on another channel.
Right. But I think the thing that you mentioned, and it's super important for people, is like there's a process to this, and it's not I'm going to go film my video and then I'm going to sit down and I've spent all this time editing and now I'm going to work on the thumbnail. And it kind of like that seems like the natural way of doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not. Like the natural way is, hey, let's plan out the video. Let's get a good thumbnail that's going to be clickable and then a good title. And if I can figure those two things out, then I'll make the video,
Yep.
And I think it's really hard and foreign for people to think about. But in our industry, it's very similar. If you were to say, what's funny is people call real estate agents first when they want to buy a house, but really they have to talk to the lender first to see
Correct.
what they can get. And so it's not an intuitive thing. It's just almost something that you have to educate someone on. But then once they get it, they're like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, because I might be looking in the wrong price point because I didn't know what I can afford or what my payment was going to be. And it's the same thing here is what kind of story are you crafting or are you telling through your thumbnail? And if you're drawing a blank, then the video is going to be garbage.
Yeah.
So
That was so good. That comparison was so good.
it's true though, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it true?
Yeah. I'm actually probably going to use that in my talk I'm doing in a couple of weeks. I was like, that's a good.
I want some homage and credit for that.
You're going to get some street cred for that. Absolutely.
But it's true though.
It is true. Yeah. Put the cart before the horse, but that was better. They call the real estate agent when they really need to call the lender.
Yeah.
Then that's what you need to do with a thumbnail. And like, I know, like, so for some videos, you can't really, like you're like, well, I just don't know until after I film it. You should have at least an idea. Because I mean, if you're just going out there filming willy-nilly and you're like, well, I'll come up with the title when I come back and everything. You're not even addressing the whole problem,
Right.
The whole problem is you're trying to serve your audience, and you can't just film things willy-nilly and just be like, okay, well, I'll just slap this thumbnail on here and call it a day.
Well, it kind of goes back to what, like what we've talked about a lot is, people film what they want instead of filming what the audience wants. And that's like, or what your audience wants. And that's why they're bummed when they're like, I didn't get any views and I really loved it, And really it comes down to like, if, okay, you're going to make content, let's see what's working. What are the questions? What's the niche that I'm in? And how can I help people understand what they need? Because they're going to YouTube for a specific reason, right? Like in real estate, they're going to learn something. They're trying to understand the process. And the natural thing right now is it's easy to go to YouTube because someone has already done that, has already been there, and now they're teaching you how to get through that. And that's the beautiful thing about YouTube and the powerful thing about it. And you can resonate by using your personality, how you are, but you also have to plan for that. It's not by accident that, like people get these great, now some people might stumble on a pattern and get some views, but really there's a art to it and a method, and it all starts with thumbnails.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But there are some basics that always happen. We see it every single week that people could really focus on. So I think the best thing to do is just show people, because hopefully it won't get too skippy,
Yeah.
We'll just do a blank thumbnail. All right. Hold on. We'll do this one. It's already got my image on it. Okay.
Yeah, and for those that are watching, ask questions. If you have any questions on this, like we would love to chat with you real time as we're going through this thumbnail.
Can you see this on the screen, my
Yep.
friend?
Yep, looks great.
Okay, so one of the things I learned pretty quickly is that a lot of people do this thing where they make themselves really tiny, right? They're too small. They have all this space above and they think that's good and they're going to put some words here and everything. Don't do that. Do not do that. First things first, if you're going to use your image, I mean, you can even cut off part of your hair. Make it so they can see you very clearly. Very clearly. To me, that looks good. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I like it. Now, this goes along with the question that we just got, which is how do you make your eyes wider?
Aha. So I'm using a program called PicMonkey. And in PicMonkey, they have something called Touch Up, right? And right here it says Eye Brighten. This is a simple thing that you can do to make your eyes look wider. And so you can make this little size thing down a little bit, and then you just kind of tap it right here, and it will make your eyes wider.
Right. The other thing to do that is you have to be big enough. Your head has to be big enough that you can see the white. And then what you're doing is you're just enhancing that white color. So if if your face is too small, it's not going to pop like it does right that. But just that little bit of enhancement makes such a big difference on like getting people to get attention that they're looking you're like, I'm looking into your soul. Like it's like literally like looking right at you. It grabs attention.
So another mistake that people do, speaking of grabbing attention, you can grab the wrong attention because they can over over airbrush themselves.
Right.
So now I'm gonna look like a porcelain doll that, you know, like this is ridiculous. I look like a soft baby. Like obviously I don't look like this.
Right.
So don't do that, you know.
Now there is a caveat to that is
Correct.
if you are in the beauty industry and you are a YouTube channel with that, then that would be okay. But like it's like the real estate agents that like you see their picture and it's like when they were 25 and then like the next you see them in like person and like they've got 1 foot in the grave, like they're almost dead and you're like, dude, that who is that person? It's so crazy.
So what I do is I leave it the harshness like halfway up. I make the size really big and I just kind of do the middle of my forehead, right under my eyes, and my chin. Sometimes I'll do my neck, but that's it. That's I'm done. I look like me. So you can do different things with your hair, all sorts of stuff. Like sometimes my hair will look like I need a haircut, so I'll give it I'll do like a copy of my shirt and give myself a little trim so no one can see that. So those are just some simple things you can do. Some people don't like their hands. You can airbrush your hands. I don't care. I'm old.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No.
Yeah. And the other, like, so then they'll do the off position, right? So they're over here. They have all this blank space on the left-hand side, and then they kind of squash the main image here.
Yeah. Instead of using the rule of thirds where you've got like a third of you, a third of whatever you're going to do. And then like, so you've got 3 sections rather than you're off one side and then it doesn't look balanced.
Right. So I could literally stick myself in the center, which I've done. And then you can do a side-by-side panel. I could stick myself over here, or I can put it like this. But what I would do if I was to do that, I would do it like that, you know?
Yeah. Amy says a transaction can age you your years. I agree. I made a really funny video where I'm like 34 and it made me look like I was like 90 and I feel great, you know, like I totally agree with that. It's one of those things it definitely is stressful. Going back, living in Missoula, she also had another question. She says, I don't think Canva does that. Does PicMonkey give me Botox and get rid of my wrinkles? Yeah, you can brush up and touch up.
Oh yeah, it's got everything. You can put mascara on. I did a whole thumbnail once because I had no makeup on and you couldn't tell. Not tell. You can do everything on it. You can add a little lipstick, add a little blush. You can even put self tanner on. So sometimes I'll, if I look really washed out, I'll take the self tanner and use that as contour. So I'll like tan around I'll show you exactly what I do here. So you go to edits and then touch up, and then you're going to go to spray tan. Right. And I'll make, I'll take the intensity down a little bit. And so I'll make the size a little bit bigger and then I'll go boop, boop. And
oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, and then take the size down even more and just add a little like a little contour, you know.
So all of this stuff that you're sharing, like this is really important for people to understand that like when you make your thumbnail, how
Mhm.
long do you spend making a thumbnail? Because I think it's like something where people just rush, put it up so they can get their video uploaded.
On a like if I have a video coming out on a week from now, I make the video. I mean, I make the thumbnail. So let's say I do it on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the video for the following Tuesday, I'm already making little mock-ups of it.
Yep.
I'm already
So you're spending a significant amount of time massaging and not only coming up with one idea, but possibly 2 to 3 more alternates that you can run through with them, correct?
right. So like for this one, I just put out, it was the about modular or manufactured homes, and it was about a money pit, right? So I had one that was just there was no fire, just said money pit. I had another one that had me on it. I used that one first because I knew that my audience would recognize me. The thumbnail was not doing well. So I went ahead, whenever I talk about this, I already know the answer to it, but I always like to test it. Is that my face repels people. If I talk about manufactured homes, they really just want to see the house.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and did this one. And then it was going up, but I wanted to go ahead and try this one with the fire. And I've gone like back and forth with these two.
Mhm.
But I think what I'm going to do is probably do this one. I'm going to actually change it to this one.
Yeah. But that's the nice thing is you have a plan and you've got some stuff that you can swap out. And not only that, you can build on each thumbnail so you can do these small tweaks. And that's kind of like what, Daryl says, right? Small tweaks,
Big
high
peaks.
peaks. And
Uh-huh.
so it's not like you have to make these drastic changes between thumbnails. Some of
Mhm.
it can be just as subtle as moving you to one side or the other or changing even like just a little bit of your facial expression compared to what you had before and
Mhm.
just testing those things or it could even be as small as a little teeny outline of what something looks like.
Can you see this right here?
Yep,
This
looks yep.
okay. So sometimes you'll get a picture of a house and it has a really crummy
Sky.
skyline,
Yep, the sky.
right? Right. So what I always do is I just do the remove tool and I remove the background. So you're gonna probably add some stuff back in here. Hold on. Erase. So the with this one it took too much out. So I'm gonna, throw this back in here.
Mhm.
That was easy, right?
Yep.
So apply, and then I just go straight here and put in the word sky, SKY, and then all these different images of the sky come up. And then you have this thing, right? And you can kind of, tweak it around.
Right.
You see if you like that or not. There's all sorts of ones. I don't particularly care for this one, so we're gonna delete it. But there's all sorts of different ones in here. Let's try this one. I use this one a lot. This is the one I like, my most typical one, especially recently. And because it has like a little bit of clouds and it looks a little bit more real.
Mhm.
Um, Part of that house got erased a little bit more. So we're gonna they oops. They that erase tool recently on PicMonkey's got a little overactive.
Mhm.
All right, so erase, and we're gonna put that back in here. Okay, there we go. And then so it still looks kind of weird, if you look
Right.
at it, it still looks kind of weird. So sometimes I'll kind of like pull this up a little bit
Right.
and then I do like a drop shadow. Okay. Yeah. So now it looks more real.
Right. Yeah. And it catches your eye because now you've got that saturation to
Mhm.
where because remember, like these thumbnails are small, so
Mm.
they're going to be smaller and you're competing. So you want that stuff to stand out. If you were to put like just do another layer and desaturate just the sky back to that original
Mhm.
thing, if you were to see that compared to like what you just did in a couple minutes,
Mhm.
like it makes all the difference in the world between the two pictures. And
Right.
it
So if I'm not going to sharpen it. I'm going to see how I desaturated it a little bit, like softened it a little bit so it even looks more like those clouds are in the distance.
yeah.
Yep, very
And
cool.
And so, like, there's lots of stuff like that that you can do to enhance your thumbnail, and PicMonkey is a great tool. You can definitely you could use whatever editor you want, but like really what it comes down to is understanding that there are layers and things that you need to connect with this in order to get the views and the clicks that you want. And it does take some planning and it does take some tweaking, but just with a few little things just like that, I know looking at the thumbnail what you do without you even saying anything or putting any words on there.
Yep, not a thing, And then, like this is kind of obvious. It's a house for sale. I'll do a little drop shadow on this. Made that look 100 times better. And then I try to find whatever power word is working right now.
Mhm.
Like sometimes it's crash, sometimes it's like it will be like a percentage, like one of the ones that like really got people going because it was even on a live stream. It was the how much money that lawsuit was. So I put the actual
Oh.
like $76 million,
Mhm.
and then the title was real estate agents are sued over $76 million. So I put the 76 mil on the house and stuff. So that worked. So I whatever it is. So let's look at let's look to see what it is right now. So oops, can you still see that? It
Yeah, I
might.
see the search, and then
Okay, yeah.
that's all we see. Yeah.
Sorry, I hit the little button and it made it small. There we go. Okay, okay. So I'm just gonna put real estate market, and since right now the oh, whatever, let's just see what it says. Since the market, since this is like something that would be very time sensitive, I'll go over to the filters. I'll do it for the last month, right?
Mhm.
And what's working right now. So Graham Stephan just came out with one that when the crash will happen, but you see it's like 2024 in an arrow.
Yep.
So I would do 2024 in an arrow, That's what I would do. Yep. That's exactly what I do. I just do what he did. Because I do them for live streams.
Yep.
Yep. See, like this one isn't even he's a pretty well-known YouTuber, and this one isn't doing so hot. And this is just assuming that there's a crash or whatever.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, I would actually redo this thumbnail altogether. Like, but this just gives you some ideas what I was just seeing what was working as far as what's on the thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
Uh, this arrow down, it seems to be working. Look at how his skyline is just white.
Yeah, it's totally white. He took it out, and then he did white with a drop shadow, and then just kind of like that fade down. And what's interesting is that tells a story in itself too, is like you got the overgrown grass, the
Mhm,
yellow, you've got like a very distressed look on his face,
mhm.
and it's a pretty simple thing, but like subconsciously it's not rainbows and sunshine and happiness and all of this stuff. It's like despair. So it's intentional the way he did that. I think a lot of people think, oh, I just threw it on there, but
Mm,
he's super intentional with making his thumbnails have you feel an emotion.
I
There's a question. It says, Megan asks, do you add grass to new construction, mud
yes.
yard for a thumbnail? Absolutely.
Yeah, I do it all the
Yeah,
time.
they're
Yeah.
not gonna be like, "Wait a second, like, that house," because again, what you're unless you're trying to go for, like, something like new construction nightmares, and then you have, like, mud piling up or stuff like that, there's lots of it depends on what you're trying to do, you know?
So, if you have to add grass, what I'll do is, like we already had this here, but we're gonna go ahead because sometimes I don't like the driveway.
So
Uh,
you gotta swap it back
oh,
so we can
sorry,
see Pick Monkey.
sorry, thank you. I got excited. Um, so that bottom area is gone now. So it's like say we don't like the driveway and we just really want to show grass. So I went over here, grabbed a picture, put the word grass, and then I just kind of look at these. This one kind of works a lot. And I'll put it behind. Oh, and then we're gonna oops, didn't mean to do that. but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and crop it. Crop layer. Yeah, we're going to leave that like that. And then we can bring this down right about there. See, done.
Yep.
Grass. You got yourself some grass.
Yeah.
What you think?
I think it's awesome. One thing that I've been messing with too is, you know how like sometimes people will put signs from like the area, you know, like we did a channel, not really a channel review, but like a like a consultation, and they had the Pennsylvania sign and everything. So after that call, I actually pulled up Chat GPT, and I wanted to mess with some stuff. And I'm gonna, if you're cool with it, I'll just hijack the share for a second. And I want to show you, like, because some things you may not find in stock images and stuff. And so part of that is like having like Chat GPT help you out with that using, you know, the custom thumbnail designer. But check this out. So what I did is, remember how we were talking about like the dystopian, like Philadelphia kind of thing, because they were like, stop, whatever. So then what I did is I found the sign, uploaded it, and then basically said, make this sign match this gen ID, which is this here, right? Because this is, and then so it came up with that. Now the spelling was wrong on that one. So then I'm like, spell it right. And then but look at that. Like,
that's good.
So like if you're needing like an element that you don't have, you can literally take what you're trying to make, which was, because his sign looked good, but then it was like all this, I don't, you know, and it just was too happy for what he was trying to do. And so just doing a couple little things like that makes, I mean, look at that. And that was done within a few minutes. So it's one of those things that like, you literally, if you can think about it and describe some stuff, you can get to where thumbnails, and not like where it's 100% generated and then you just upload you know, something, and then, but it's more like you do pieces, so you're not just using the whole generated thing and upload that as your thumbnail, but you're actually using the pieces, just like what you're doing with PicMonkey, and taking elements of that to enhance your story through the thumbnail.
I'm going to show you guys something that I put in PicMonkey that to me was like, this is one, I mean, what I put in Chat GPT, when I did it, I was like, I can't believe that this did this for me. So I just asked it for sale sign that the home is being sold by Amazon, and it created that Amazon sign.
Yeah. So how much time does that save you from not having to actually like go find everything and type it and do all that stuff?
Make all that stuff. I mean, it saved me a lot of time, a lot of time. Yep. And I used that sign for other thumbnails when I talked about Amazon in another video too.
Yeah. So the Living in Missoula is saying, you said match it's Gen ID. So if you're using Chat GPT, we have a GPT that is thumbnail designer. We could put that in the chat, can't we?
I'm going to do it right now. I'm doing it right now.
And you basically, when it creates the image, what Dolly does is gives it a unique identifier, and it's a gen ID. And then if you put that number in there, then it will copy that look and feel. It's the prompt basically, but it's condensed down into just an actual code, so you can keep your stuff consistent. Because I don't know if you've ever done this, but you're trying to make an image, and then the next image you do doesn't look anything like the image before, but you really like that image before. So if you add that gen ID to what you're wanting to do, it will then copy what at least the look and the feel of what you're trying to get. And it just saves a ton of time in trying to nail out an idea.
I concur, Joe Eves.
Yeah.
I want to like talk about some other little mistakes that people make. First of all, I think depending on AI is to only make your thumbnail and not using elements like with your own images and everything else. I think that's a mistake.
Right.
Like it's best to use a component of AI and add it to an actual like images, because there's some things you're not going to be able to do.
Yeah.
So that seems to me that works the best, because even my kids are like, "Ooh, that looks AI generated." They hate that,
Yeah.
like it repels them.
But
Um,
what's cool is if you take elements of that and then
correct.
incorporate it, then it's like, how did you do that?
Correct. So that works really well when you layer it with some AI images and some real images, then it looks cohesive to me, in my opinion. It doesn't look so cartoony.
I agree. I'm the same way. I think that it's an awesome tool. And it also helps you flush out some ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of that you're
Hmm.
like, oh, that's a really good idea. I'm going to try that. So it's just there to help you. But if you're going to just put something in there and then be like, make this, and you're just being lazy, you're not going to get the click through rate that you could if you spend some time actually studying out what your audience and your avatar wants. And then they may hate AI. You may put something up there and they're like, that's so fake. Ooh, I don't like it. I'm not going to watch it, or they're turned off from it.
Yep. Yep. The other thing too is that um, we're going to talk about font. Um, let's go. I'm going to show you a perfect example because I think sometimes people get in love with what they make, or they're so in love with their personal brand they feel like, well, I can't do that because I've used that font for
Hmm.
for my stuff. Okay, so we have a very simple here a thumbnail here. Can you see this, Joe?
Yep.
Okay, this is Joe. I just put a very one simple power word, closed, and this was from Get More Closings by Using Your YouTube channel. Very simple. It's obvious. There's a house in the back. There's a YouTube sign. I made that sign with AI. The house is not AI. I grabbed that from somewhere else, but we used the word closed. If I had done that with this lettering, it would look terrible.
Yep. And then put it in yellow.
Yeah, and then I'll like and then like that. Or that. I mean, it looks terrible,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's the thing is that like a fat, like easy to read font
Mhm.
is going to be, and it's going to be so much better. And then I think the other thing is, like, less is more when it comes to words. Try, like what you just said, use a power word or something that's going to get, like, I mean, you automatically know what that's about because it's closed and a real estate sign. So you know that it has something to do with closing in real estate. That, like, in a few seconds you have an idea. And
Yep.
it's big enough and easy enough to read so that you're not like it just stands out. And I think that's the biggest mistake is, like you said, I think a lot of people get in love with a certain font or a certain color, and it's really hard to read, but they're like, but that's my brand and that's my color and I want to stay true to my brand.
Yeah,
And-
and then they're missing the boat. The ones that really kill me are the ones that use script, like
yeah, like a scripty font.
a scripty font. I'm trying to find it in here. I mean, I think they probably took it out because they know better. Oh, here we go. Here we go. No
Yeah.
one can read that. No one can read that. And it might look really good on Instagram or other social media sites, but I assure you with every fiber of my being that it would do so much better if you did it the way, like, did it with blocky letters, because I'm guilty of this. I used to have very very, I just like, this looks so pretty, but nobody could read it.
Yeah. But
Nobody could.
again, but it goes back to what we talked about earlier, is that you did that for you. Like,
Right.
you did that because you liked it, and it wasn't thinking, what is my viewer like? What is my avatar like?
This was it. Like, I just thought that was so cute,
Mhm.
so like so pretty, so dainty. And now I'm all the way like
Like the most block, like straightforward, boring font.
I
But
use
the thing
chunk
is that
font.
it works.
Yeah. Yep. I wanted to use one that didn't look like as like similar to everybody else's. So that's what I use all the time is chunk 5 for my
Yeah.
personal channel, chunk 5. Yep.
Yeah, and it's super easy to read, but yet you got just a little bit of character to it rather than it just being like a boring blocky font.
Yep. Oh, I want to show everybody a really cool trick. So sometimes I'll do this thing where the inside layer has a
Like a
like
stroke.
a stroke, right? But then what I do is I'll copy the word, right? And then I go the one underneath it, And then I will do the outline on the second one, even larger in a different color. So look, and then I will boost this up. See?
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of gives it a little extra oomphy oomph.
Yeah. Yeah. Just it kind of accents and gives it almost a 3D look.
Correct. So it kind of even pops that word off even more. So, just don't be in love with your brand so much that you are basically committing, like an atrocity on YouTube where no one can read what you're writing. Speaking of writing though, don't use so many words.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it so many times where like somebody's doing a tour video and then they put the brand, let's just say it's DR Horton's emblem. Then they put a little tiny image of themselves at the corner with a banner at the bottom with their phone number. And then they're going to be like, must see this inside 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. And then the home is like in just this part of the, like, take all that garbage off of there. Just stick the house on there. That's all they really want to see. Nobody cares about you. I hate to tell you this, but you're very unimportant to them.
Right.
So,
but we don't, I mean, again, we don't know what we don't know. And that's why we're
right.
telling people, right? That's the whole
Right.
point of this.
Correct. So if you guys have any questions or you want me to show you anything that I do not get any kind of affiliate links with PicMonkey. I did 1,000 years ago, but PicMonkey was bought out by Shutterstock.
And then they're like, no, thanks.
No, they were like, no, but I can't fault them because they forgot to bill me for like 2 or 3 years in a row. So I was like, and I wasn't going to inform them because I wanted some affiliate marketing. I was just going to like zip it.
I do have a question. So I don't use PicMonkey, but let me ask you a question. What can they expect to pay and how is the learning curve on PicMonkey?
To me, okay, so I originally, the very first time I was making thumbnails, and this was back in 2017. Yeah, 17. First time I was ever making them. I had Canva first.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it very limiting. Like they just didn't have as many features as PicMonkey did. Like I wanted that drop shadow. I wanted that, at the time it was the white stroke that went around it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in there in Canva, like painstakingly cutting out my image myself. They didn't have like a image
Like
remover,
a background remover or anything?
background remover, or anything like that. So, and then I could always tell when somebody made a thumbnail with Canva. And I'm like, no, I want to design something that doesn't look like it came from Canva. They were
Mm-hmm.
very flat images at the time. And they didn't have a way to make it look more 3-dimensional. So then somebody told me about PicMonkey and I was like, oh, wow. I felt like I won the lottery. And it's so simple to use. It's just one of those things. It's like, I'm always learning more stuff about it every single time. I mean, it's really easy for me now because I've been doing this since 2017 and I make thousands of thumbnails and half of them you have never seen. But I enjoy it. It's something I like doing. Somebody actually emailed me recently and says, can I hire your thumbnail designer? I'm like, absolutely not, because it's me.
Well, yeah.
I'm the designer. Yep. Yeah. $12.99 per month. Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate you. Yeah. I have the pro version, where I get all the features.
All the features.
I want all the features. I want, give it to me. No. It's so cheap though. I mean, for the amount, $12.99 for the amount of stuff I do use for it. I mean, come on. And they have all sorts of templates in there too. So if you wanted to make like a Facebook post or even an ad, they have all those templates already set up in there. So you know the exact size and you're not like messing it up or whatever. This is not me endorsing PicMonkey. It is a good product, but you don't have to, you can use anything you want, whatever works best for you. But I just know there's some things that really, will work on any thumbnail in any program. Whitening your eyes, slightly smoothing your skin, making sure you use big block lettering, make sure you're not putting too many words on there. Make sure it's so easy to read that a kindergartner could tell you what your video is about. Ooh, that's another thing. If you make a thumbnail and you already have the title together and I want you to go up to a coworker and give them the thumbnail and say, what do you think this video is about? And if they can't tell you, or they're like, is it about new construction? And yours was about, and your video was about home builders in crisis or whatever, that would be perfect. You'd be like, thank you. Right. Did good job. But if they go, is it about construction? And you say, no, it was about the housing crash. then you failed.
Yeah.
Start over. Start over.
Yeah, you literally want them to be able to glance at it, and without telling them anything, they have an idea of what the video is about.
Yeah. Yep. And then I have to tell you the thumbnail that we made for this live stream today was not made because I am a YouTube thumbnail genius. I just said making thumbnails. Oops, man, I got fat fingers today. Oh, golly, for YouTube, right? All right. And so I did that, did the filter, did this year, and then I did most viewed. And then I like scrolled down. Oh, I forgot to hit videos, but it ended up being somebody talking about Ryan Trahan's thumbnails, and
Mhm.
they showed Ryan Trahan, and then the blurred out thumbnail, and with the arrow that said behind the scenes or whatever I wrote on the what did I write on this? Oh yeah, what you don't see. So it was a picture of Ryan holding a an iPad, and it had the arrow that says what you don't see, and it had pixelated the thumbnail. So I'm like, done. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. But see that you just dropped some major knowledge right there of like if people will just take what you just said and
Mhm.
they put that into practice, like their thumbnails will go so much better because you're getting it off of stuff that's actually proven and that's actually working and getting clicks rather
Yeah,
than and you did put your own spin on it, but you
right.
saw the pattern and you're like, "Oh, I like that because that gets the message across." But I don't you don't you're not saying anything about thumbnails on this, but yet you know that that's what it is. It's like, "Oh, what is it that I don't see?"
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actual original one because I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like because it was so good. It was like I said, it was Ryan Trahan, and he had it was a whole like behind the scenes of what he does to make his thumbnails, and maybe they changed the thumbnail since then, but
Maybe they could have swapped it. They're like, "Man, it's not converting as much. Let's
it
put it."
that video had like 550,000 views on
Yeah,
it.
which is great. Yeah, so, again, though, like, that just that process that you did, if
Mhm.
all you guys that are watching or that do watch that, if you'll incorporate that, you will notice a definite increase in your click-through rate if you can plan out. Because if you're not planning out anything, once you start doing that, you're gonna realize, "Oh, wow, there's some patterns," especially if you start researching on YouTube and you see, "Oh, in my demographic or in my niche, this is what's working because it's a month old and it's got, 500,000 views." Probably should take some elements from that and incorporate that into the thumbnail you're designing.
One thing you guys need to know though, if you are making channels in different countries, like
Yeah.
there's a new thing that people can do where you can basically take the same exact video you just made, you send it over to AI, the AI matches this your tone of your voice and your mouth, so it makes it look like you're speaking Hindi or something,
Yep.
right? So the thumbnail for that specific country is going to be completely different than it is for the United States. I know for a fact, like, look at all the words, promote all this stuff and day 6. I mean, this is a super busy thumbnail,
Is
but not
exactly the opposite of what we teach, but
right. But that country, that's what works.
yep.
Yeah. That was one of those things I was like, "Oh, this would," because sometimes people get that
It's like
confused too.
overload,
It is overload. Yeah.
but
See how
to
much
them, it's not.
right. Yep. So much stuff, and that would not work. We need simplified. Almost like, like a kid. Like a kid does it. This is pretty
Yeah.
funny. This thumbnail is boring on purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yay, vidIQ did something.
Yeah. Well, it didn't do well though.
No,
Look, it did 52,000, and that is not good for their
not for
channel.
them.
Nope. Nope. Yep. So it's interesting because like this one too, the 52,000 views for a very pretty small channel, and look at all this stuff on there. I would tell you stop it, go back. But it worked for them.
Mhm.
But it's their country. It's a different country. Wild, huh?
It
So
is crazy how even different countries, the trends and what things work, that don't work for us and vice versa, and how they change. You mentioned a couple times, like, hey, the stroke around the person with the white, that was a thing. there was a thing about where you outlined your actual thumbnail with a color. Like there's lots of like little things that worked, but now it's changed from that. And where we get our information is from YouTube.
Yep. So this was the thing that everybody did in their videos. They all did this white stroke around it. And it was a thing. Don't get me wrong, it was a thing. And people just loved it, but it's not a thing anymore. Not a thing. They would, and I used to sit there painstakingly
trying to cut it out, and then
cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't do that anymore. But it was a trend, and those trends end. And that, thank God that one ended, because I really hated it. And then of course they made it so much easier. And then when I got on PicMonkey, I was like, I do it all the time. And then I remember even doing a live stream to show people how I did it.
Well, this stuff is super valuable that you're sharing, and that if people will just take little elements and aspects and just try to incorporate that, it's going to increase what you're getting, even if it's just planning your video first with the thumbnail idea, even if it's not totally like designed out, but you have an idea and you've worked with something, your video is going to do, like, making your content is going to be easier too, because now you have in your mind what the thumbnail looks like, what the title is, and so you can incorporate that stuff. So it's just a little bit of planning, but it makes your content so much easier to do, because you already know they're going to see the thumbnail, they're going to see the title, and now I got to deliver on that promise by creating the content.
Speaking of delivering on promises, we have two. we have two channel reviews, but we've been rambling on. I hope you guys found this like super beneficial. Let us know in the chat if you did, if you've got any useful information from it. I shared some secrets today, so
yes, you did.
Yes, I did. Some good information here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add this to the stage. Aha! Oops, not this. No, we're gonna share this tab instead. All right. Actually, this one came in first. All right, so we have moving to Columbia, South Carolina with Sandra Sturkey. All right, Joe, what you want to say right off the bat?
Okay, probably. So, I mean, the picture I like. I can't tell if she's cut out or not, or the white, because it all kind of like goes together. I think she's not. I think it's okay. It's just a little confusing because it almost looks like her hair is just floating there.
Yeah, she looks like a floating head. I would have a different color background.
Yeah, so maybe do a little bit darker background, or not have the background as washed out.
Right. Yep. Like she has a really good picture of a skyline. Yeah. Take that white banner stuff right off of it. You could just leave that, with the skyline there. And then I put a drop shadow on her too.
Yep, just to kind of have her a little bit of separation from the skyline, because then you're not competing as much and it looks better. I definitely would get rid of the new videos on Wednesday. The design is fine if you want to keep something like that, but like you don't need to add that on there.
I would have something like contact me or schedule a call with me, and then something like that. Some kind of call to action, because do you really care if they watch your video? You really want them to call you.
Yeah.
I know you want them to watch, don't get me wrong, but the best thing for you to do is want them to contact you. Normally I'm all over, like, I don't like, phone numbers on there and everything, but hers is very simple.
It's fine.
Straight to the point. It's real estate advice. It's relocating to Columbia, South Carolina. Done. I just take that stuff off there. And I don't even mind her logos, because they're far off to the left-hand side and they're not going to be there on a mobile view. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't. And the colors are great. I like her profile picture. I think that stands out so much more. And it looks like it's the exact same picture, just a little bit bigger. So that's where it's like, okay, work on that skyline a little bit, just so that, because you could push down the real estate advice and that stuff just a little bit.
I think I know why she did the white background, is because she wanted to use the blue lettering.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Right. So what you can do, keep your blue lettering, just this is one time I'll tell you, put the white stroke behind the letters here.
Yep. And even if you did a little bit of a white stroke and then even a little bit of a drop shadow to give it kind of that 3D look, it'd be easy to read. Plus it's a little bit more color and you're not, it just looks a little bit, but again, we're nitpicking on this stuff. It's not like going to be, it's fine. I don't really, the banner's fine.
Yeah, I know. I like giving people little tips. They
Yeah.
wanted them. They asked them from us.
I do like the Calendly, but I'm wondering
Yep.
what the other links are. Yeah. So
the only link you really need to keep here, honestly, is just leaving the Calendly link. And then you can leave your website one, but the one to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, About Me, all this stuff, it's unnecessary, totally unnecessary. You're not really trying to take people off the platform unless they're contacting you. I mean, who cares if they like your Instagram posts? Like who cares? That's not going to do anything for you. What you really want them to do is contact you. So just leave it your Calendly link and your website, and that's it. But you were smart in the fact that you left that Calendly at the very
you
top.
have it there first so that they can see it.
Yep. All right, let's look. Is the best for people interested? Yeah, this is perfectly fine. Yep. Wow, you're one of the few that we haven't trash about their.
Well, there is, okay, so I will go, not trashing, but just one of the things that, so her channel has been since 2015, and if she was uploading videos every Wednesday, she would have more than 100 videos.
She could have had an old channel that she never put anything on now.
I guess the point is just remove the uploading every week or every Wednesday. Just do it if you're going to do that.
Well, let's see. Her oldest video is only 2 years old.
So she deleted all of her other stuff?
Yeah, either she deleted her other stuff or she never put videos on it. You can make a channel and never put videos on it.
It's true.
All right. Let's give her a quick synopsis of her thumbnails since that's what we're talking about right now. Oh, I'm going to say right the first. Okay, so we're going to talk about the first one right here. Shocking comparison of South Carolina versus Florida cost of living revealed. You're too tiny. You're literally like this in your thumbnail and you're going like this. You want to put yourself dead center of the thumbnail, dead center. And then you would have the shocking comparison. I do like the fact, though, that you made two separate skylines, right? It's very obvious that they're two separate areas. And I do like that you made it simple.
Yeah. And there's no words to it's a comparison video right off the bat.
Right. Yep. I concur, Joe.
You could just a little, this is more nitpicking, but let's say that you're trying to make it South Carolina, obviously more, whichever one you want to sway them with, that's the other one. You make that thumbnail more of the not as nice or whatever, so that there is a drastic thing. But the sunset and then during the day is fine. But if you really want to add even a little bit more, that helps with your comparison.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and this one's even clearer.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, 5 benefits of lake living on a lake. I would have made this image of the house a little bit bigger, and I would have moved you over to the right. But at least your noggin's big enough.
She's at least taking that 1/3. She just needed to shift for the other 2/3 the house and make it just a tad bigger.
Yep, I agree. All right, well, good enough. That will get you started there, my friend. All right, we're going to go to, all right, Raleigh-Durham life. All right, we got Raleigh-Durham life, new videos weekly, subscribe, your info, learn. I mean, we got a lot of busy stuff. Yeah, I don't get why you're in front of a podium with a microphone.
Yeah, is he like a podcaster?
I don't know. It doesn't really make sense, though. It looks like it was put there afterwards.
Like photoshopped.
Yeah, photoshopped on him. Because this is the actual picture over here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, let's look at, is it a... No, he's not. It's just a regular...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this. This is what I would do. Go ahead and leave your image on there. Your channel name is Raleigh-Durham life. But what you want it to convey is, in a very simple sentence, very few words, what is it they're going to get? The audience is going to get from your channel. So what you could say is Raleigh real estate life, or you know, whatever your channel's videos are about that will address the audience in a very simple, you know,
Real
just a few
quick,
words.
it's
Yep.
real estate. Like, you
Yep.
know, right off the bat
that it's about real estate. So maybe like have some imagery with homes for sale in the background with, you know, like a Raleigh skyline or something like that.
The other thing I would do is I would remove your phone number and your email in that. You can't read it anyways, and if
It's
it's
too
like
small.
it's too small, so either you're going to make it bigger and get rid of learn about, and then like your text is just way too small. You're trying to cram a lot of stuff in there, and you really, I would focus more again, like what we said on the last one, is just having more of that background, knowing that it's real estate, because like the reason I know that it's a real estate channel is because it's got, you know, a couple real estate logos, but I do real estate. Anyone that doesn't do real estate, they may not know KW Legacy or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Keith, you know, Realty or whatever. So at a glance, you just want to make it as clear as possible that you do real estate in that area, if that's what you're going for.
Right. And as a design standpoint, I don't understand why there's a green thing with this white thing and then a green thing, like this banner thing that's sitting up. It seems unnecessary.
I'd be curious to see what it looks like on a TV.
Like a big, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I would, if that's the case and you designed it for television, I'd make it big enough so you can't see this green line with this
Exactly.
white
That's
box.
all up above that crop
Yeah.
mark.
Yeah. Above the fold, as they say in
Yes.
the web design. All right. So we're going to talk about your about section right away. So the first thing I noticed is that the first highlighted, because this is what happens, the first thing you put in your about section as far as your link is going to be the thing that's highlighted on the front page, right? So if they're coming to your channel, do you really need them to subscribe? No, you need them to contact you.
Yeah.
So what your first link should be is some way of them like filling out a form to contact you, or a Calendly link or something like that that will take them in a spot where you get their information, you capture their information.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing is that there's some coaches out there that'll be like, if you'll put that in there and you put that link, then they're going to click and subscribe instead, you know, because you're thinking like you're trying to like game the system in a way, or say, hey, you're going to
Mhm.
get this stuff, rather than saying, hey, provide some value, because people know how to subscribe already. People know it's been around long enough now that if they like your content, they'll subscribe and like it's a natural thing when they find value.
Mhm.
So a subscription is great, but like a lead is better. So like, why wouldn't you put in, hey, you know, if you want to chat more about real estate, fill out the form and I'll give you a call. Like that to me is way more effective than subscribing to the channel.
Yep. I don't mind with his paragraph here. This is fine.
Yeah.
His about section. That's good. Yeah, I agree with you. Just put some way of them filling out a form so you
Yes.
can
A quick
contact them.
little squeeze page or a Calendly invite or something where you can grab their contact information.
Yep. So on your profile picture, because I'm looking, it kind of like washes out and blends in. Like this looks very clear.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're
Just
like a
use the
cool,
same blue in the background.
yeah. So use that same blue in the background on your profile picture because you kind of like blend in. I'm pasty white too, so I always add myself a spray tan. So I don't look, I don't look as Caspery, you know. Oh, these aren't bad.
No.
I love this one. I mean, it doesn't really go with the pros and cons, but I like how cute it is. It shows his personality.
Yeah.
Yep. See, like the words are so tiny here. Number one community in Durham, Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. But you already have the word Raleigh, North Carolina community in your title. So
He
you don't,
has that on all of his thumbnails. He's doing that with all of them.
yeah, you don't have to put that on your thumbnail. If it's in the
Go,
title, you don't have to put it on the thumbnail.
go over the first one, the Governor's Club, like, okay, so he's hitting all these I would do like shots of all of that kind of stuff, you know, or like something, okay, it's the top gated, but like show like, rather
The
than just the golf course, because everybody sees that, like do something, what is really cool in that place that's gated right now, or that you could do that people would love.
pickleball.
Pickleball, huge. I would click on it.
Yeah. Yep. Best neighborhoods in Raleigh, North Carolina, living in.
I mean,
living
you
in.
definitely I do like his facial expressions, like,
Yeah.
you get an idea of, like, he seems like he's a pretty fun guy and, like,
Mhm.
someone probably really easy to talk with.
Yep. So, like, honestly, you didn't even have to write hot neighborhoods because it says it in there. And I would have made this sign bigger, the Durham sign, and then have the flames going around the Durham sign because
Yep,
it conveys the title.
but you don't even
Hot,
have to say it.
you don't have to say it. You don't have to write it on the thumbnails. Yeah. Yep. Where are you looking? Like this one right here, you're kind of like you're looking. Where are you looking at?
He's
If
thinking about it.
if you're doing that on a thumbnail, be looking at something. You look like you're looking down at outer space. I don't know where I'm at.
Well, you could shift him over, right? And then it could be something right there that you put there.
So if you flipped the image over, right, and you put him over on the
Yeah,
right,
then he's looking at that water tower.
and he's looking at that water tower, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
But now he's just looking at the awning of that building right there. He's
You're
like,
like,
"Is
What
there birds on there?" Yeah, yeah. Like this one's good. Like you didn't even need that. All you need to know about Wake County year-round schools. You didn't even need the Wake Count. You didn't need that year-round schools on North
Yeah.
Carolina.
You
You
could
didn't
have
need.
just had yourself and those lockers in the
Yep,
classroom.
yep. I concur. But I love that he did the drop shadow. I
Yeah,
mean, really
it
made it look
definitely stands out.
right. And then he blurred the background. That looks good.
Mhm.
You're nearly there. You almost got it. You're like fine tuning. What is it? What does Daryl Eves always say?
Small tweaks.
Small tweaks, big peaks. I mean, he just started.
Yeah,
Look, just started.
he's doing great.
You're doing fantastic.
One thing okay, so one other thing is if I've noticed that there's if we're since we're talking about thumbnails, like adjusting, like you'll see that sometimes he's oversaturated, sometimes he's not saturated. Like try to find like a good balance of what your skin is like. So like the pictures that you take and the things that you do, make sure that are consistent because that will help with your thumbnails. Like the pros and cons one is great. The hot neighborhood one is great. And then you go down and some of them are like really like red almost and like
Margie.
yeah, so just like try to find a way that you can even out your skin and kind of keep it more consistent. It
A
will
lot of
look it'll
a lot
look better
of
with your
yeah.
you know.
Sorry, I got
Go ahead.
excited. A lot of your editing, like, stuff on your phone will adjust that,
Yep.
like, you can adjust it if you have an iPhone, you just go into edit and, like, take down some of the warmth.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
And it's something really tiny, but it will take your thumbnail from looking like you just
Flat.
took it yeah, like flat or like even a little bit more amateur to like your pictures look better because they match with your background and stuff.
Yep, and that was one of those things that when I changed it, I wasn't sure how people would notice, and Malcolm Lawson said, "Hey, what camera are you using for your, thumbnails?" I'm like, "My cell phone."
Yeah.
He's like, "What did you do different?" And I was like, "I boosted up the clarity, fixed the saturation, and then boosted up the sharpness."
Yeah.
And people all the time are like, "I can't believe you can make them so crisp." I'm like, "It's just my iPhone."
Yeah.
I literally sit in that chair right behind me, turn on the lights, and Eddie takes pictures, my husband takes pictures, and then that's what I use for my thumbnails.
Yeah. So it's not like you have to have all this expensive equipment and everything, but it is just knowing how to use some of it makes a big difference. But that will help with it will help with the clarity. It will help with those harsh shadows. Unless you're going for that look because
Mhm.
you're trying to do a certain feel, like that's what I would just mess with it and adjust it.
I concur, Joe Eves. And with that, I want to let everybody know that we're just finishing up with our last group. So we'll be starting with our new group of students. And so if you want to boost your channel and have it more successful, understand how to make really good thumbnails, not only that, learn how to make really good videos that capture better leads, just go ahead and sign up for the Real Estate Video Geek course. We're just starting up in a little bit, in a couple weeks. I'm going out to Pennsylvania and on the 19th, and that's when we'll be starting the next group after that. So
Yep.
just FYI. And if you're in the Pennsylvania area and you want to go to Westchester, Pennsylvania and join in, please do. I'll be there. I'll be speaking. Well, la 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 la. So I'd love to meet all of you. Anything you want to add there, Joe Eves?
No, I just appreciate you taking the time and that we're able to go through and share them some experiences of how to create a better thumbnail, and hopefully that people found value. And if they like what they've seen here, then they'll love what they see in the course, because
Yep.
the really good stuff's in the course.
Yeah, and you know, we have the best students on the planet.
Yeah.
They're most uh genuinely helpful to one each other. And that's the best thing. So
Yep. A
you'll
great
when you get in,
community.
you'll see everybody is always like, after about week 4, they're like, wow, this is so great. We have such a great group of people. So, and
Yeah.
I say every time we get another group, I'm like, this one's even better. This
Yeah.
one's even
We just
better.
keep getting really, really good people, and they're all willing to like help each other. And it's great because they're getting good advice because they were getting taught to do it the right way.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, Mr. Joe Eves. Thank you so much, everybody, for
Hey,
stopping in. I appreciate you.
thanks,
See you next
guys.
week.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.